Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so today we're diving into a genuinely paradigm-shifting concept, pulling from some absolutely fascinating research on how the human body ages. Let's just jump right into it with a pretty radical premise. What if the normal experience of aging, that inevitable physical decline we all just kind of expect, is actually just a conditioned response? What if getting older, at least the way we currently understand it, is literally just a deeply ingrained habit of thinking? Today we're going to unpack the mechanics of how changing your mind might literally actually change your biology.
And this quote right here brilliantly illustrates what our source material calls the prison of conditioning. Think about a baby elephant tied to a little wooden stake in the ground. It tugs, it pulls, but eventually it learns that it can only move within the super narrow limits of that tiny rope. Now fast forward a few years. That same elephant is a massive, incredibly powerful adult that could easily uproot an entire tree. But if its leg is staked with that exact same little rope, it stays right there within those narrow confines. Why? Well, because it's been conditioned to accept an illusion of limitation. And the crazy thing is, we do the exact same thing with aging. We're born into a society that constantly tells us getting older inevitably means a steady decline in our physical and mental capacity. We just accept those societal limitations without even questioning them, basically building an invisible prison of conditioning right around our own bodies.
Section 1. Redefining your age. Age redefined.
So to escape this invisible prison, we first need to realize that we've been focusing on the completely wrong measurement of time. Look, most of us completely obsess over our chronological age, right? It's the number on your birth certificate. It is literally just a measurement of how many times the Earth has rotated around the sun since you were born. And it is completely fixed. You can't change it. But biological age, that is a measurement of how well your physiological systems are actually functioning right now. A 50-year-old who takes amazing care of their mind and body can easily have the biology of a 35-year-old. So the absolute crucial takeaway here is that while your chronological age is totally out of your hands, your biological age, which is the only one that actually dictates your health and vitality, is entirely reversible.
Now you might be wondering, how exactly do scientists even measure biological age? Well, they use what are known as biomarkers of aging. The big ones include your blood pressure, bone density, immune function, aerobic capacity, muscle mass, and even things like skin thickness. But here is where it gets really interesting. The human body is essentially holographic. Because the body operates as this deeply interconnected whole, if you take steps to improve just one single marker, let's say you start exercising a bit more to improve your aerobic capacity, you naturally influence and improve all the other markers too, like your immune function and your bone density. You aren't just fixing one isolated little part, you are upgrading the entire interconnected system. It's an absolute game changer.
Section 2. Quantum perspective. A new worldview. To truly grasp how we actually have the power to reverse these biomarkers, we need a massive shift in how we understand what the human body even is. We kind of have to toss out traditional Newtonian physics and look through a completely different lens. The contrast between these two views is stark. The old worldview basically treats the body like a physical machine. Think of a car. No matter how well you maintain it, eventually the parts are going to wear out, rust, and just break down over time. And sadly, that's how most people view themselves. But the quantum worldview, it reveals a totally different reality. It tells us that your body isn't a static, solid object at all. Instead, it's a dynamic field of infinite possibilities, energy, and intelligence. You are definitely not a piece of deteriorating biological machinery. You are a continuous, ever-changing network deeply connected to the universe's limitless potential.
Now if that sounds a little abstract, just look at this astonishing statistic. Over 98% of all the atoms in the human body are exchanged every single year. 98%. The lining of your stomach, it's entirely replaced about every 5 days. Your skin is newly built every month. Your skeleton is replaced every few months. The actual physical matter that made up your body just a few years ago is literally no longer there. Your body is not a static object. It is a flowing river of energy. It's kind of like a flame. It keeps its shape, sure, but it's constantly metabolizing new fuel and oxygen. Or think of it like a local library building. The building itself looks exactly the same from the outside, but the books inside are constantly being checked out, returned, and replaced.
Section 3. Perception creates reality. Changing your view.
Because your body is constantly remaking itself from scratch, the blueprints it uses are actively shaped by your own expectations. Let's try something fun. Take a look at this. What do you see right off the bat? Do you see a white chalice right in the center? Or maybe you see two black silhouettes of faces looking at each other. The sensory data, the actual pixels, hasn't changed one single bit, but your conscious interpretation of it literally creates your reality in this exact moment. By just shifting your focus, a cup instantly becomes two faces.
Let's do one more. Look really closely here. Do you see a bird facing to the left with its beak open? Or do you see a rabbit facing to the right with its ears pinned back? This brilliantly illustrates a pretty profound psychological and biological truth. Just like shifting your visual focus changes the image you see, shifting your mental attention dictates your biological health. This right here is the entire foundation of the placebo effect. If you genuinely expect a treatment to heal you, your conscious belief actually commands your biochemistry to create that healing. And the flip side is also true. If you expect your body to break down as you age, well, your ever-changing cells are simply going to follow those instructions.
Section 4. Setting your biostat, your bioset point.
So the big question is, how do we actively program new instructions? Well, just like a thermostat regulates the exact temperature in your living room, you have a biostat. It's a set point in your consciousness that regulates your biology. And here is the highly specific daily routine to reset it. Step 1. Choose a biological age up to 15 years younger than your chronological age. So if you're 60, pick 45. Step 2. Affirm this newly chosen age the very moment you wake up in the morning. Step 3. Repeat this affirmation before every single meal and right before you go to sleep. By consistently feeding your consciousness this super specific set point, you are literally giving your body's energy field new instructions for how it should assemble itself.
And here is the exact affirmation you want to use for this routine. Every day in every way, I am increasing my mental and physical capacity. I look and feel a healthy X years old, just fill in your target age. By making this a daily habit, you're leveraging a really cool scientific principle called teleology. Teleology basically states that deeply intended outcomes will automatically orchestrate the biological mechanisms necessary to fulfill themselves. So you aren't just engaging in positive thinking, you are purposefully triggering biological renewal.
Section 5. Perception of time. Metabolism of time.
But to truly master this biological renewal, we have to talk about the very fabric that aging relies upon, which is time. Aging is, at its absolute core, the metabolism of time, and our subjective experience of time dictates the speed of our biological clock. If you constantly feel rushed, stressed, totally out of time, your biological clock accelerates. But if you feel relaxed and completely absorbed in the present moment, your biological clock actually slows down. So how do we actually do this? The secret is to find the spaces. Find the spaces between your breaths, the physical spaces between the objects in your room, and most importantly, the silent spaces between your thoughts. This is a practice known as self-referential. When you intentionally step into the silent gaps between your thoughts, you effectively pause that endless internal dialogue. And when the mind comes to a standstill, time comes to a standstill, and your biological clock effectively pauses. You disconnect from the frantic rush of time and connect to what is often called a timeless mind.
I want to wrap up this explainer by leaving you with a somewhat provocative question. Who is having the experience? Like as you listen to my voice right now, who is listening? The one who is reading, the one who is observing, the one who is listening? That silent witness inside you is the exact same presence it was when you were a little kid, a teenager, and an adult. That core witness hasn't aged a single day. When you shift your attention and recognize that your inner self remains perfectly ageless, totally untethered to the passing of time, you realize something huge. Your potential for youth and vitality isn't running out. It's infinite. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I really hope this empowers you to completely redefine what is biologically possible for yourself.